Today, we are going to be talking about 4 ways that you can build and maintain your credit. I am joined by Brad Simmons of Charm City Credit Service.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Today, we are going to be talking about 4 ways that you can build and maintain your credit. The pandemic has absolutely turned everything upside down when it comes to household finances. And I know that you are the credit extraordinaire. So if you can just introduce yourself to us again and just tell us where you are, what your business is.
Sure. Again, I'm Brad Simmons with Charm City Credit Service. And I was really excited about the pandemic. We were getting out there in the community, doing first-time home buying seminars, meeting people, and obviously we have not been able to do that for a little over a year now. So this is my first opportunity to actually get out there and talk to people. We actually have a great office in Towson. We prefer clients to come to our office and meet with us in person, but that hasn't happened either. So we've been doing appointments online. I've been helping people out with their credit going on 8 years now. People always ask me how I got into helping people with their credit, so I always share that my credit was pretty jacked up at one point. So I hired a company to help me, and they trained me on how to maintain my scores, and I really enjoy helping people do the same. So I've been doing that ever since I got my credit cleaned up.
I think, just in talking with you, Brad, I know how important that credit credit is to just finances in general. And before we get into educating the audience about the 4 things, I want to just highlight a quote from Credit Karma, and I'm picking Credit Karma because I always get people calling me. I don't know about you. They use Credit Karma and they were checking their credit scores, but they had a really good quote. And just to see what your opinion is, they said that credit is a tool that can be used for good, but may be problematic if you don't know how to use it effectively. Using credit reliably and earning good credit scores can help you build wealth and allows you to do business with companies, but you can get into trouble if you don't understand how credit works. And I think that's what I come across often is people who think they know how credit works, but there's a lot of places where they can use a bit of education. So what are your thoughts on that quote? Do you think it's kind of spot on?
I mean, absolutely. Credit is the key to everything, unless you're a billionaire and have multi-million dollars sitting in the bank. Aside from that, everyone needs credit. Everyone. I mean, you have a good job, and you have bad credit. I mean, it's your good income is pretty much worthless if you don't have good credit.
Absolutely.
So there are a lot of misconceptions out there about credit, credit cards, and we can get into that as we go along. But yeah, so, credit is definitely the key.
Credit is definitely the key. So, Brad, I'm bringing to you a couple of questions that might be easy for some, but I often get them from folks that I come across. Number one question that I get, one of the questions that I get, Brad, is I have a credit card and I pay the minimum each month. And the question I get, is that okay? Is paying the minimum each month okay?
Well, that's the thing. But paying your balances and paying the minimum payments and on time is what you're supposed to do. So that you don't. People always come and they say, "Well, I'm paying my bills on time, my car payment, my credit card, and my scores aren't going up." But that's what you're supposed to do. So in order to manipulate your scores and get the quickest drive to your score, most of our clients are trying to buy a house, so they want quick success. The quickest way to get a boost to your credit score with your credit cards is keeping the balances below 10%. We hear all the time, 30% is the magic mark. 30% doesn't hurt you or help you. But while you're trying to get a quickest boost to your score, you want to keep the balances between 1 and 10%. You don't want the balance to be 0 either, because that just shows the credit bureaus that you have the card sitting in a drawer and you've forgotten about it. You're not even using it if the balance remains at 0. When you have a small balance on there, it lets them know that you know the card's active, you're using it actively, but you're also using it responsibly. So you want to keep a balance on there between 1 and 10% while you're trying to get the quickest boost to your scores.
Okay, so between 1 and 10%. I've always heard repeatedly 30%. So knowing that is good information. And so even if I have a little balance, it shows that I'm responsible and shows that I'm using it and that I'm responsible for credit. Okay.
And
Okay,
30%,
good.
like I said, is doesn't hurt you or help you. So
Okay.
when we get our clients into a house and they're, want to use up their credit cards, 30%, like I said, won't make a difference. When you get closer to 40 to 50, that's when your credit starts taking a hit.
Okay. So the further away we can get from that 30%, 1 to 10% is our goal. So that's really good advice too.
Exactly. Yep.
Another question that I get often, Brad, is what is a secured credit card? And, why should I get that? And why is it going to help me?
Well, that's how I started rebuilding my credit. And that's how most people
Mm.
start rebuilding their credit, is a secured credit card. And what that is you put your own money up. That's why it's called secured. You put your own money up. Usually it's about $300. They'll give you a credit card for that amount for $300. And then you just use it as you would any other credit card. Within 6 to 8 months, if you're using it responsibly, they will graduate you to an unsecured credit card. They'll give you that money back, whatever money you put up. And then it just becomes a regular credit card. And then you're on your way to rebuilding your credit.
Okay, so this is good for people who may not have bad credit, they just don't have no credit.
Exactly.
Okay, so getting a secured credit card, you said with $300 or so, using it responsibly, and then being able to get an unsecured balance, which is the goal, right?
Correct. That is the goal, and the limit is not important. People always think, well, my
Okay.
credit card's only $300 limit. I'll have a $500 limit. As long as you use it appropriately and use it the right way, it doesn't matter if it's $1 million credit card or a $10 credit card. You use it the right way, it's going to drive your scores up and affect them positively.
Okay, so it's about positive use, no matter what that is. Okay. Another question that I get, Brad, here is, I get this often. I want to help my children build their credit. They don't have any now. And how can I do that as the parent? I want to help my kids out.
We get that a lot. And I always tell my clients to add their kids as an authorized user to their credit cards. And then they're like, no, my kid's not getting one of my credit cards. But then I let them know that they don't need to get a credit card. And they can opt not issuing them a card, and their credit card will show up on their credit and really help make a difference and help them build up their profile. But at the same time, it can hurt them as well. So if you get that credit card for your kid and put them on there, you got to make sure now you really use it correctly, because now you're going to be affecting two people's scores.
Just calling up, adding your kid, making sure that you're responsible as the parent to take care so that you won't jack up your kid's credit as well, right?
Exactly.
Last question I get that I have here is the negative items that are accurate, right? Let's talk about accurate negative items. How do they get them removed?
That's a great question. For something to remain on someone's credit, it has to be 100% accurate, verifiable, and reported timely. And quite often, one of those three are not met, if not all of them. So we kind of use the analogy of a speeding ticket. When you go to court, you're speeding, you're guilty, but the cop doesn't show up. So you kind of get off on that technicality. So that's what we do against the Fair Credit Reporting Act for our clients. We find the loopholes in the system. We're constantly challenging and making them verify the negative information and validate it. And we do that over and over and over again. And that's how we have good success.
Okay. So just being accountable, not just putting something negative and not following the whole process all the way through. And by cleaning up the negative items, what would that do for a person?
Well, getting negative things off someone's credit report is going to drive up their scores. And a lot of times, another misconception, collection agencies, once a collection or a charge off hits your credit, the damage is done. Paying it at that point is not going to help your credit. Clients all the time come to me after the fact. They've spent thousands of dollars paying the stuff off, and they're saying, well, it's still in my credit. They told me they were going to remove it, and that just doesn't seem to be the case. Quite often they tell you they're going to remove it, you pay it, and it stays on there. So the only way to really get something removed off your credit is through the dispute process. And as a consumer, anybody can challenge negative things on their credit. So, but it's a lot of time, it's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of expertise of knowing what to put in the letters. And then to be able to, if it doesn't come off right away, to be able to have the recourse and to be able to initiate new investigation codes, which allows us to initiate new investigations round after round.
Okay. So that's where your service would come in, because, you know, a lot of people that I deal with and clients, they're busy, they don't have time to, they want to, but they really don't have the time. And you would help them with that, correct?
Sure.
To make the time to do that. Brad, I'm sure there's tons more information that you have to share. And I just encourage the audience to reach out to you with any questions or information. What are some of the benefits in having the audience stay in touch with you?
Well, if you're trying to buy a house and you need help with your credit, that is a huge benefit, because we've helped many people obtain their first home. If you follow our recommendations, I mean, it is a process. You spent a lifetime messing up your credit. It's not going to get fixed overnight. But we do have people that get results in the first 30, 60 days. Usually around the 3 to 4 month mark is where you start seeing the significant difference. But to buy a house, you need a 620, 640 credit score. Our goal is to get our clients' credit scores well into the 700s. So what happens quite often is we work with them, get them to where they need to be. They move forward with the loan. We put our process on hold, and then we'll just pick right back up once the loan is obtained and try to get their scores even higher. But you can reach us at cccreditservice.com is our website. We're also accredited with the Better Business Bureau. We have an A+ rating with a lot of good reviews on there. I don't think there's many companies in Maryland that are accredited with the Better Business Bureau. We are licensed, so we have all the credentials. And when this pandemic is over, we have a great office for our clients to come into.
Okay,
so,
awesome.
Thank you again, Carolyn, for this opportunity. I really appreciate you putting everything together and including.
Oh, no problem, no problem. So, guys, if you want to stay in touch with Brad, my voice is croaking a little bit, be sure to watch this video. I'm going to have all of his information in the message box if you need that. You can also message me as well here at your PG County Living. And we'll be sharing, like I said, a lot of great content in this regard. If you need any help with your credit for purchasing a house or just wanting to improve overall, as Brad said, I always encourage my clients to get their score as high as possible, especially if you're dealing with financing anything from a house to a car. Typically, the higher the credit score, the lower your interest rates, which means the lower cost of the loans overall. So it's a good idea to work with Brad to really get on a game plan and sticking it out there for the duration. As you said, Brad, it took a lifetime for them to get to that point. Just make sure you have patience and with your process, they can really get help. So that's great. You all know that you can find me here at your PG County Living. And as I said, we'll be sharing a lot of great content. Brad, you're also on Facebook at Charm City Credit Service. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Also, office number is 410-690-4488.
Okay. And I'll also put his phone number into the comments along with this video as well, so that you guys can go ahead and reach out and set up. You're having virtual online consultations right now, or phone calls, or?
Yeah, we use join.me. It's a screen share. Okay. The clients log in and they can see everything as if they were sitting in the office.
Brad, I want to thank you for providing your insight and your expertise and just sharing your answers to the questions that a lot of people are having right now. And of course, if anybody needs additional help, they can reach out to you. This was a great discussion. Guys, again, I'm Carolyn with your PG County Living. Be sure that you follow and you like our pages here, Facebook, Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want to thank you all for joining us. Take care now.
Thanks. Good night.